5 causes of suffering, called the kleshes, are the result of not seeing things as they are. And that is avidya. Avidya means not knowing. It also can be translated as ignorance. It can even be translated as innocence, simply not knowing. It can also be translated as insanity, vidya being sanity, avidya being not sanity. So we really see that the causes of suffering have to do with mental health. So we have this not knowing, we have this not seeing things as they are, not being able to perceive reality accurately. And the 5 reasons for that are the ego, and out of the ego comes our aversions and our attachments. The ego wants this, it doesn't want that, right? So we're chasing, gripping, grasping, trying to hold on to our attachments, and then we're avoiding, ignoring, being in denial, all the different ways in which we do the aversive behaviors. And then we have simply fear, right? So we have ego with the attachments and the aversions, and then we have fear, just fear. And in some ways, that is the biggest emotion in yoga that is acknowledged. And the way out of that emotion, which leads to anger, sadness, and even in some ways happiness, is just the absence of fear. There is not another feeling. There is love. There is compassion. There is contentment. There is discipline. Those are not feelings or even emotions. Those are states of being. But I digress. Fear. We all know it. It's overwhelming. It can really take over and run your life. And then we have the fear of death. And we all have it. And even the yogins say the wise also are afraid of death. It's the unknown. So those are the things that run our minds and sometimes our behavior, and they cause suffering.
My name is Regina Trailweaver. I help people create lasting lifestyle change for holistic health based on the sciences of yoga for awareness, Ayurveda for acceptance, and psychology for alignment.
So the idea is not that we have no ego, no attachment, no aversion, no fear of death. We have those things. We will have those things. But can we rise above them and be able to get perspective to see things clearly, to perceive reality accurately, to see things as they are, so that we are not run by the ego, the attachments, the aversions, and the fears. We don't want them to dominate or be preeminent or control how we feel, as well as our choices and our behaviors. And of course, that creates a very vicious cycle. I feel this way, then I do that. That makes me feel this way, so then I do that, and so on and so forth. So, for example, I feel stressed out, so I have a glass of wine, or worse, right? Something else that has even more detrimental effects on me. I'm not against a glass of wine, by the way, but it's a slippery slope, right? As soon as we go to a substance. And then often there's a hangover or a kickback or a side effect from that, then we try something else. So that's how that works. And we want to try to get out of that vicious cycle into a place where we understand these things, and at the same time, we are not run by them, and we have skills and we have tools, so that instead of just being in this sort of hamster wheel of, well, I'm afraid of this, but I want this, but my ego says I have to do this. Well, and those 3 things all go together. And then I'm afraid about what I'm doing to myself. I'm afraid about what other people will think of me. And the big one that is in the back of everybody's mind is your own death. You're going to die someday. And do we really want every action, decision, and choice that we make, that we take in our lives, to be controlled by this unconscious fear of death. Better to bring it up into consciousness and deal with it. So there are many techniques in yoga, but the overall technique, the way out of this vicious cycle, is practice. It's the practice of the 8 limbs of yoga, which one is the asana. That's the one we tend to focus on the most in the West, but there's 7 other branches, and we need to practice all of them in order to achieve liberation, moksha, freedom from these kleshas. I'm offering a few practices in conjunction with this little Dharma talk about the kleshas, explaining why we suffer, how we suffer, and how we might possibly stop suffering. We cannot stop pain. Pain is important. We don't want to stop pain. Pain is information. Emotional pain, physical pain, mental pain, that is trying to tell us something. There is a message there, and we need to listen to it. And if we do, we can very likely mitigate the pain, especially if we don't avoid it. If we're aversive to pain, then what we resist shall surely persist. So we want to soften towards it. We want to find what yoga gives us, which is the capacity to soften around our attachments and our aversions, to have soft palms, not gripping on, not holding on, not pushing away either, but receiving and releasing with this more open kind of mind and physicality and heart as well. Along with this Dharma talk, what I'm offering is an asana practice, a posture practice that will help you to connect with this kind of acceptance and softening, but also strength. We need to have the strength to bear reality, because reality is pretty messed up. There's a lot of really tough things going on right now. Nothing really seems to be going that well in terms of the, bigger picture. But then again, there's an even bigger picture, right? So we want to be able to get that perspective that allows us to see everything really clearly. So the asana practice is designed to help you ground down into the earth, center into yourself, lift up into that bigger knowledge, the illumination, the wisdom, the ability to really see it all. And then there is a pranayama practice, a breathing technique that can really help us to purify ourselves. And purification in yoga means really cleansing out these kleshas and all the obstructions and obstacles that they bring our way. And then after that, a meditation practice that will help you to really find a place of freedom. Freedom from depression, freedom from worry, freedom from anxiety, and freedom from trauma. Instead of feeling helpless, hopeless, and powerless, you will feel that you and everyone that you allow yourself to be a channel for energy towards. So this isn't about you giving your energy away to other people. This is about creating space inside of you so that this energy can flow through you, for you, but also for the people around you, so that we might all be free from suffering. Namaste. Om, Om, Om.